Now that we're familiar with the three levels of setting, physical, temporal, and social, our goal of this video is to identify at least 6 examples of setting across the 3 different levels of setting in your novel. So we have 3 levels of setting. We want 6 total examples, maybe 2 from each, um, or whatever, however you want to divide them out. Notice we have our rules for the setting and our definitions, physical, temporal, and social. You can review those if you need to. And in our learning guide, you're going to see this chart. You're going to put the title of your novel, and then we have bullet spaces for examples of physical setting, temporal setting, and social setting. I have an example here, an excerpt from the novel Internment by Samira Ahmed. If you want to pause to read this, I'd suggest you do that first, then unpause, and I will go through and find examples of physical setting. So in this excerpt, if I'm looking for physical setting, the actual places I could teleport to and see and touch, we have a perfectly manicured lawn. Notice it's not just a lawn, but we're getting a description of it. We want to add these descriptions to our physical setting. We have a place called Center Square. We have a gazebo, but it has twinkling fairy lights. It's describing the lights like little fairies. We have yellow beams from the porch lamps. The porch lamps are details in the setting. There's a porch, but there's also lamps. We're getting those details. And we also get a funnel of smoke, um, another physical thing that we can see and touch in the setting itself. So these are examples of physical setting. Now, go into your novel and try to find examples of physical setting in your novel. Next, we have the next page of this novel. If you want to pause and read that, pause and read it, unpause, and then I will be identifying temporal setting examples. On this page, we see the words then and now. She's separating how she manages time, a time before and a time now. And then we have 2.5 years since the election. We have 2 years since Nazis marched on DC. We have 1 year since our answers on the census, and we have a whole bunch of others here too. But I'd like you to go into your novel and look to see if you have anything that deals with time. Maybe it's time of day, maybe it's nighttime, maybe it's the year, maybe it's the decade. What examples in your book tell you when your story takes place? When you're ready, continue with this video. From the same page, we're going to take a look at the social setting. These are the laws and the rules and the culture and how the society works. And here we have references of Nazis. So there's a political idea here. We have a Muslim ban, a law. We have book burning, an activity that seems to be normal in this world, which we don't really hear about in our current time. So this is definitely a social setting piece because it's something that the people of this world do on a regular basis. And then we have something called exclusion laws. Now, look into your novel and see if you can find any cultural references, laws, technology, fashion that is very specific to your physical and temporal setting. I then went through all of my examples that I just found, and notice I put them in this chart. This is the same chart we looked at the beginning of this video. I just copied and pasted word for word, and in parentheses, I put the page number it came from my book. Um, and I just typed them one after the other. We only needed 6 examples. I have quite a few here. And I compiled them all in this chart. That is what you are going to do to find examples of setting from your novel. And now that you've watched this video, you should be able to go back to your text if you have not done so already and identify at least 6 examples of settings spread across the 3 levels of setting. So maybe you want 2 for each setting, 4 for one setting, and 1 for each of the other 2. However you want to do it, you should be able to identify examples of physical, temporal, and social setting in your novel.